Hello everyone, my name is Ryan, and in this video I'll be showing you how you can set up your installation of Elementary OS so that you can play both native and Windows developed games. Now if you're not familiar with Elementary OS, it is a Ubuntu based distribution that aims to mimic the workflow of Mac OS X, and it is often recommended for people coming across from Apple's ecosystem. However, under the hood, it is based on the long-term support or LTS release of Ubuntu, which does mean that the distribution is very stable. The downside to this, of course, is that the software packages and drivers will be very old in comparison to other distributions, which is not ideal if you want to be gaming on this distribution. Ultimately, this does mean that you will be relying on PPAs to get the latest version of software, such as Wine, Lutris, to a certain extent Steam, as well as GPU drivers for both AMD and NVIDIA hardware. So step one is to enable PPAs for the system. Elementary OS by default will disable the use of PPAs, and presumably this is for security reasons, but since this is Linux, they can be enabled with a single terminal command. So all we need to do is open up a terminal window, and we want to type in the following, which is sudo apt install, and then it's software properties common. Type your password in, and normally you get a prompt to install this, so at that point press Y and then continue and follow the instructions. So now that PPAs are enabled on our system, we can install some newer versions of software and drivers, and we're going to start with drivers. So step 2 is to download and install the latest GPU drivers. For this particular step, I'm going to reference the Lutris wiki, in particular the page that covers the installation of drivers. So for example, what we need to do to follow these instructions is first of all open up a terminal window. Just going to pop that on top, and it really is just a matter of following the instructions step by step. So for example, I've got an NVIDIA GPU, so I'd be using this section here. So the first command we're going to paste in here is to add the NVIDIA proprietary drivers PPA. Paste that in, type the password, and we'll get a prompt in a second to press enter. Doesn't take too long to do this. Okay, so now we need to enable 32-bit architecture. You might find this is already done, but it doesn't harm to just do it again. Then we need to update our package list, including the PPA we just added. Press paste. As it turns out, there are two things to be updated, so we can do that. Sudo apt upgrade. As it turns out, it's a driver for something else. So press Y to confirm. There we go, up to date. So now we need to actually install the driver. Now, as it recommends here, make sure that the graphics card is supported by the driver before you install it. If you ever want to check that, if you actually go to the site, just minimize that, to the driver site, it will give you a list of supported products. As long as your card is listed somewhere on here, you will not have any problems. Obviously, if you install the driver and you get a black screen, you'll probably find that the reason for that is that the driver doesn't support your system. So anyway, going back here, let's bring our terminal back up, and we're going to install we're not actually going to install the 450 driver, we're actually going to install the 455, which is the latest version available. Well, at least of this video. Obviously adjust it in the future to what's available when you watch this video. In my case, I've already installed it ahead of time, but at this point you'll be prompted to install it. The next step is to install support for Vulkan API. Vulkan is a open source, or rather a cross-platform graphic API similar to DirectX for Windows, as well as OpenGL as well. Basically, you need Vulkan support in your graphics drivers for this to work, and as long as you've got one that's no older than 10 years, you'll find that it'll work. Anyway, we need to run that command there to add the support, and then once we've done that, we can reboot the system with a simple reboot. Now, obviously, I've just showed you the steps for installation if you've got an NVIDIA GPU, but if you've got an Intel or AMD, the steps are just a little bit further below. It's the same process really, the only difference is you add a different PPA for the drivers. either way, I'll leave both methods on the description of this video. So step 3 is to install Steam, enable Proton, and install Proton-GE as well. So now we've sorted out the latest graphics drivers, it's time to install some software to allow us to game. First piece of software we're going to install is Steam. Now Steam will allow you to play both native as well as Windows developed games through a compatibility layer called Proton. Now Proton's not perfect, as what you'll find is not every single game will work, but unless the game itself uses some form of kernel level anti-cheat such as EAC or BattlEye, then chances are it will run to some extent on Linux. However, I strongly recommend you check out Proton-DB for an idea of what games can and can't be run on Linux. Also, just make sure that you read the reports, as what you'll find is the reports themselves will offer solutions of people how they've got it working. And if it's a little bit tricky to set up, a solution is often found in there. Just don't go off the rating, like this gold rating here. It's not a great solution, because what you might find is a game historically didn't work, but over time it has worked, so it sort of skews that rating. Always go off the reports. Now installing Steam is very straightforward. You can literally install it off the application store. So type in Steam, click on it and then install. Once you've done that, run it for the first time and you'll typically find there'll be an update. So once it's done that, sign into your account and then you'll be using Steam. So the first time you sign into Steam, what you'll find is that all your games will be listed same as in Windows, but you won't be able to install any of them, or you won't be able to install anyone that aren't officially supported by Valve's Proton or have Linux versions. However, it is possible to use Proton with any game in your library with a couple of clicks. What you want to do is go to Steam, Settings, Steam Play. Just make sure you've enabled this option here where it says Enable Steam Play for use with all other titles. You'll normally find it will default to the latest version, which this video is 5.13-4. Click OK and then restart Steam. Now what you'll find is you'll have the big install button. From here it's just the same as installing the game on Windows. Now Proton itself does aim for overall compatibility with multiple games, and as such will not typically include any game specific fixes, except for a couple of AAA games. So often if you do have a game specific issue, then using a custom build of Proton would be recommended. And one such custom build of Proton is Glorious Eggroll's Proton-GE build, and this includes many game fixes that have not been upstreamed to the main Proton build. What I tend to do as a custom rule, if I can't get the game to work with the official Valve release of Proton, then I'll try Proton-GE, and at that point you'll probably find it'll just work. So here's just a list of all the different patches that are included in this version as well. As well as a couple of notes as well about if you're going to use this version, what to do and what not to do. It is pretty straightforward really how to do it. Installation is straightforward as well. So all you need to do is go to Releases, scroll on to Latest Release, and then download the latest archive from there. This will go to your download folder. So in your download folder you want to extract the archive, and inside it you'll find a Proton-GE folder. So it'll just be a moment or so while it just quickly does this. Okay, make sure you take a copy of this folder and then go to your home directory. You want to enable hidden files, go to .steam, go to root, and in here you want to create a new folder called compatibilitytools.d. Inside of here you want to paste in that folder you've copied earlier. Let's do that. Let's merge. Do that. Yeah, replace them all. That's okay. It's probably because I've already got it in there, so that's not a problem. So this will be done shortly. Once that's completed, restart, Steam, which I've already done. Now if you right click on the game and go to the properties, there's an option here at the bottom where it says force the use of a specific Steam Player compatibility tool, and as you can see now on the list is Proton-GE. So what that means is when I install that game, next time it runs it'll actually use Proton-GE instead of the default Proton build. So step 4 is to install Wine Staging. Now since Elementary OS is based on the LTS version of Ubuntu, which as of this video is Ubuntu 18.04, and the version of Wine that is available in the repositories is out of date. Therefore, once again, we're going to follow the installation instructions found on the Lutris wiki, and this will allow you to install the latest version of Wine using a PPA as well as a couple of terminal commands. Let's open our terminal once again, make sure it's on top, and once again just follow it in sequence. The first one we won't need to do because we already know that we've enabled 32-bit architecture, but again, there's no harm in doing it. Just paste that in, type in our password, and now we're going to we're going to download and then add a Wine repository key. As it turns out, I've already got one in my system, so that's fine. And then we're going to add the key. Okay. Now, since we mentioned before that Elementary OS is currently based on the 18.04 release of Ubuntu, this is the command we need to copy and paste next. This one here for 18.04. Okay, so that's now added. And as it states here, since we are using something based on Ubuntu 18.04, we also need to add the backports PPA. Once again, we'll copy that and paste that in. Press enter. Now we need to update our package list, including the 2 PPAs we just added. We go to copy and then paste in. Now the Lutris wiki recommends installing the staging version of Wine, which is absolutely fine. But if you do notice a problem, you can just install the stable version of Wine instead. It's just a matter of replacing the word staging with stable. So anyhow, let's copy that and click paste. In my case, I've already installed it ahead of time, but at this point you'll be prompted to press Y to confirm. Make sure you install these libraries as well, especially if you're going to be using external game launchers that aren't found on Steam, so like your EA Origins, your Blizzards, that kind of thing. You will need them. Okay, so at that point, we've now successfully installed Wine Staging, and we're all up to date. So now we can move on to Lutris. So the final step in this process is to install Lutris. Now think of Lutris as similar to how Steam works with Proton, but which allows you to play your games that are found inside the Steam ecosystem. Lutris will allow you to play games that are outside of that ecosystem, for example on EA Origin, Blizzard Battle.net, Epic Game Stores, Ubisoft Uplay, as well as Bethesda Launcher, just to name a couple of them. And the way that Lutris achieves this is it uses community developed Lutris scripts. And what they do is once you download them and execute them, they will effectively automate the setup process of the Wine prefix where the game is going to be installed. The idea behind it is to mean that the end user itself doesn't have to manually configure anything. Now the only requirement for using Lutris is that you have a suitable GPU driver, which we covered earlier, as well as Wine installed, which we've literally just done. So Lutris can be installed with a couple of terminal commands, as it's not found in the repository of any of the Ubuntu distributions. Well, the official flavours anyway. Let's open up a terminal window. Once again, let's just put that on top. And it is just literally these 3 commands here. So copy, type in paste, type in your password, press enter. Once again, update the repositories. And then finally this last command here, sudo apt install Lutris. You guessed it, we'll install Lutris. Press Y to confirm. And this should be done in a couple of minutes. Shouldn't take too long to install this. Okay, so that's installed. So Lutris itself is pretty straightforward to use. Just use it to search for a game. So search bar on any of the pages. So if we type in, say for example, Diablo, do a search. So we'll install Diablo 3, click on that, and you literally just click on the big install button here, and that will install, that will load up in Lutris, and from here it's just a matter of installing, well, basically full instructions and clicking install. As it states here, you will sometimes get some notes about performance and little tips and tricks you need to do. So as it says here, install the dependencies first. So if we do that, click on the blizzard.app link, and surprise, surprise, it takes us back to the Lutris wiki. So as it says, if you're going to be using anything that uses BattleNet, you want to make sure you've got these dependencies installed. Easiest way to do it is copy them, copy those files there. Once again, open up a terminal, type in sudo apt install, and then just paste in those libraries. Type your password. Well, as it turns out, they're already installed. You'll probably find that when we went back to the wine bit, yeah, when we installed these, it includes the same libraries that we just copied on that other page there. Alternatively, if you don't want to go through the website, you can actually search for the games within the application itself. So once again, let's type in Diablo. Oh, hang on, sorry. There we go. So it's appeared under here. So if you click on that, the Diablo 3, click install, and once again, you'll get this same prompt here. Now, one thing just to note, when you actually install a lot of games using Lutris, you're not actually installing the games direct. What you're actually doing is installing the launcher and then signing into the launcher and then installing the game. So for example, if I followed through with this, it would download Blizzard's BattleNet, but I still need to sign to my account and then download Diablo 3 directly. Now you might be thinking, if I go back to lutris.net, I've got quite a few different games that are on a Blizzard's BattleNet. Why don't I just install the generic BattleNet one? In fact, let's have a look. Is there a generic BattleNet one? So yeah, as you can see here, there's a Lutris script here for Blizzard BattleNet. So you might be thinking, I'll just install that, and then from there I can install like StarCraft, I can install Diablo, and all the other games I've got on my Blizzard BattleNet account. This isn't a good idea, and the reason for that is that what you'll find is that individual game-specific Lutris scripts will often have some form of configuration or tweaks that are exclusive to that game. And that may be something that is not included in the generic launcher script. Or worst case scenario, install this, you find one game launches, one doesn't. Yet if you did them separately, you won't have a problem. Obviously, if you find a game doesn't even have an existing Lutris script, then yes, by all means use the generic launcher one. But either way, once you've installed Lutris, that's your final method of installing games on Linux. So with that, you've now successfully set up elementary OS for gaming. And as always, thank you very much for watching. And if you did find this video helpful, please do leave a like and subscribe to this channel for more content like this in the future. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.